You hold on, let's get it right. YouTube, what's good? It's your boy, Paulus Harris, aka the Crazy Uncle. Hey, if this your first time tuning in, go ahead, hit the doggone subscribe button, hit the notification bell every time I post up new content. Uh, just got off the phone with one of my former soldiers. Um, Great conversation as always, and we spent most of the time actually talking about the stuff that's going on with the Ukraine, how they're acting like really being invaded now, all this kind of stuff. And then, but so sometimes, right? And this is why I titled this show, because this is how we was talking about this, that, and the third, you know, and then we was just like really coming to the conclusion, right? That okay, because we was talking about like previous administrations and who they had as their cash cow, or the person or persons that they had to get out of there, right? So like I said, if you actually really go back for the past 20 years, maybe even 30, right? And you look at the people that was in office at that particular time, right? You know, because we all, for those of us that actually really know the deal, we already know that every president is not elected. They're selected by that elite, by the elite 120, right? And so basically what happens is this, right? And I know I said this a while back. Being president of the United States is almost as I compare that shit as if you was pulling motherfucking staff duty, whether it's at a battalion level or a goddamn post level, right? Right? You the staff duty NCOIC, or you the staff duty officer OIC, and guess what? You already got a list of shit to do, right? So it's no different than being motherfucking president of the United States. You already got a list of shit to do. Cause just think, just know this. Don't think that you actually really finna come in and change shit. That is not how this shit works, people. Right? Because they do this and then they give you like this. The agenda is given to you, right? And then depending on how well you handled it, right, will decide on whether or not if hold on. I'm doing a show, so y'all have to be quiet. And Granny and they're laying down. So in either case, here's the deal, right? When and that grandbaby say, hey, so in either case, like I was saying, so when you so like you have an agenda, and depending on how well you handle the agenda, that would depend on whether or not they get to blame all of this shit on you, or they can actually really like, hey, guess what? You did a good job. So let's just actually really go back and look at the previous presidents and what they did. So with President Obama, I want to say he got uh, Bin Laden out of there and a couple other folks. And then previous that you had George Bush, right, with the whole 9/11 thing. That was his cash cow, right? And then before Bush, you had Clinton. Clinton, his job, depending on how you look at it, His job was to actually like really clean up the economy, give the government a surplus, right? And I actually really think that he actually really came up with the three strikes rule, right? But this, all what I'm saying is this: when you actually really go back and look at this, every president within the past 30 years, they had that one cash cow that would actually cash cow or cash cows, where that they could be like, okay, well, hey, well, what is the one thing that during that president's time in office, what was the one thing or things that they did that actually really stands out and actually really makes them great, right? So with Trump, now Trump was kind of like, Trump didn't fuck with nobody. Trump was actually really trying to bring businesses back into the country. Trump was actually really trying to put money in people's pockets. Then when 2019 comes around, this whole COVID comes out, right? And then everything shuts down. It's almost like, and then I actually like really referred this to that one album that Public Enemy came out with, and the question was asked, what you gonna do when the grid goes down? Well, hey, guess what? When COVID came out, guess what? The grid went down because for the most part, a lot of people didn't work, they couldn't pay the bills. So guess what? Your grid went down. You didn't have no lights, and eventually you was out of your motherfucking house. You didn't have nowhere to motherfucking stay. Right? So that happens. So then Trump is out of there, which for the most part, depending on who you talk to, it was bullshit. You want to sit up here and say, well, hey, look, the vote, the votes wasn't counted right, this, that, and the third. However the fuck you actually really want to look at it, but just know whatever happened, they already know this is something that the elite, they didn't want Trump in there no more because Trump was actually really putting shit out there. He was putting motherfuckers on blast. Right? So now let's fast forward it to, we looking at President Biden and his campaign. Right? And who is actually really gonna be his cash cow, right? Because Putin over there trying to fuck up anything and everything possible with the Ukraine, right? And I'm looking at this and see, this is what me and my former soldier was talking about, right? For the most part, this is almost like a suicide. This is almost like a suicide mission that Putin is doing right now. If indeed that is actually Putin, because again, a lot of this stuff has been taken down, right? Where that his own wife said, hey, look, this motherfucker been dead for years. So now you got to ask yourself, well, who is that really playing Putin, right? Is it him or is it a goddamn clone? Like, seriously. But my whole deal is this. Putin had put everybody, or he done put his people, the nuke people on high alert, right? So I guess if anybody else, so basically, I think basically what Putin is saying right now, hey, look, y'all can come if y'all want to. And I'm going to start putting nukes in the air. Now, let's actually really look at that for a minute, right? So let's just say for shits and giggles, right? That motherfuckers come in and they do what they gotta do to stop Putin from invading doggone Ukraine, or at least slow that shit down and get them motherfuckers out of there, right? So let's just say, okay, let's say he start shooting nukes off. Now this actually really goes back to the Georgia Guidestones, right? Where that, hey, let's have a population under 500 million, and there's damn near 9 billion people in the world today. But again, let motherfuckers tell it, right? A lot of people have died from COVID-19, right? A lot of people done died, right? I don't know what the world numbers are, but I'm pretty sure that the number is actually really pretty high, right? So, but even more than that, right? The economy, for the most part, has slowed down dramatically due to COVID-19, right? Because people couldn't go to work, right? So when you can't go to work, you can't pay your bills, you can't feed your family, right? So 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get out of there just because of that, right? So now that with all of the guidelines, with all of the vaccines that are actually already out there, right? And then they've actually, in some states, I don't know how it is in other countries, but in some states here, a lot of the states have actually really downplayed uh, where you can wear a mask and where you don't have to wear a mask at, right? But it doesn't change the fact, and you can still go to work or whatever, but it don't change the fact that, hey, guess what? Gas prices are still up and they steady going up, just for the simple fact because you can even put like this: the first time that you even think about war was good. So the first time that you even think about war, shit is gonna go through the roof. War produces money, but you gotta look at it like this: it produces money for who? For who and for what and why? Right? Because like the normal everyday common folk, we ain't benefiting from that because again, still trying to recover from COVID for the most part. So you do this, you jack up gas prices, you jack up food prices. Now these motherfuckers that went to war, right? And then there's the threat. Hey, guess what? You come over here or you come near me, I'm gonna start sending nukes up in the air. But here's the deal: you do that, you already know they already got somewhere. They already got somewhere that they can go, right? These motherfuckers already got food stored up. They got places to stay. The whole nine, right? So it could be just for the simple fact, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead and start sending shit up in the air, right? Again, Georgia Guidestones. So, like I said, and this is why I said, this is why I titled this show how I titled it. It was until it was not, right? And then you can be like, okay, well, it was. So what was it? Well, shit, it was good. And then again, motherfucker was like, well, it was good, but it was good for who, right? Well, again, another that's another topic, another story, whatever the fuck, however you actually really want to look at it, right? But the thing about it though is this, right? If you was working, you got money in your pocket, you got a place to stay, you can eat good, you got clothes on your back, right? Then guess what? It was good for your motherfucking ass, right? But just know this, and I've said this: there's no such thing as a goddamn foreign enemy. All these motherfuckers know each other. So what makes y'all actually really think that this shit was not strategically planned out? Basically, that's all what the fuck I'm saying right now. All this shit is staged, people. And I know a lot of people, I know a lot of y'all gonna say, well, what about the satellite images and this, that, and the third? Okay, what about that shit? Okay? People moving, so-called moving out of the country, right? Don't listen. Don't always believe what the idiot box shows you. Yeah, they jacking up gas prices, but guess what? If put like this, when the powers that be have that ability to jack up gas prices, then guess what? They gonna jack up gas prices, right? If they actually really want to slow down the production of food coming in to certain stores, guess what? This is what the fuck they gonna do. Yeah, they can blame it on COVID all doggone day long, right? But again, I'm not gonna sit up here and say a whole lot about that because y'all already know how I feel about it. Just go back and watch my previous videos, especially when this shit actually really first popped out, right? So again, but all what I'm saying is this, people. All these motherfuckers, right? They sit at the round table. They sit at the round table each and every day, or every other day, or whatever, and then they sit around and it's like, okay, hey, guess what? We thought we had them with this. We thought we had them with that. We thought that we had them with the other. And these motherfuckers are still reproducing. So what is next? What is the next best thing that we can do? Okay, well, let's start up a war or have these motherfuckers thinking that we started up a war. Let's jack up gas prices, food prices, every goddamn thing else that you can imagine. And see how that and let's see how that goes. So again, it's a lot of times that I really wish that every time that I talk to my man, that we can actually really do this on an actual pod. Well, I won't necessarily say what I have as a podcast, right? But it's just for the simple fact we can actually really get on here, and I can say my piece, he can say his piece, right? And then let's just see how the rest of the general public takes it. Because again, like I say, every president is going to have his cash cow, that one motherfucker that he has to take out, or at least have the American public or the world for that matter really believe that, okay, damn, he really took that motherfucker out, or damn, he really did this, he really did that, he really did the other, to submit their legacy. And then when motherfuckers actually go back and look at them years later, then it comes the argument. Well, what president was better? So let's look at it like this, people. They doing this shit on purpose. All of these motherfuckers are actually really involved, right? Just like I said, don't just because you see it on television or telling you to vision, don't necessarily mean that shit is true. So with that being said, hey, guess what? Tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell Big Dad, tell Big Bertha, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your papa, motherfucker next door, across the street, around the corner. Paulus Harris, aka Crazy Uncle. Next time.